Hey again! Let's check out some of the most common objects in 2C8 apps. Process? In our first video, we talked about what a process is and why it's useful. The symbol, or object, for a process looks like this. Simply put, a process is something you do. It's named with a verb and a noun, like wash clothes. As you might remember, a process can be broken down into different levels, each going into more detail about what needs to happen. Here's a breakdown of the wash clothes process. What's this object I see here at the last level? Activity. This is what we call an activity. Just like processes, activities are named using a verb and a noun, like fold the laundry. Now you might be thinking, hold up, wait a minute. What's the difference between a process and an activity? Good question. A process can be broken down into more detailed levels, but activities aren't divided further. You can think of an activity as the most detailed level. It's where you'll find the specific instructions on how to complete the task. Business object. Before you can start a process or an activity, something has to trigger it. A prerequisite, a need, or simply an input. For example, when washing clothes, the input would be dirty clothes. But there's also a need, the desire to get them clean. Similarly, we use the same object to define the output of a process, which is the result. There's always an output after a process or activity, so in this case, it would be clean clothes. We call these inputs and outputs business objects. They're named as nouns, sometimes with an adjective or a status, like a pile of dirty clothes or a paid bill. A business object can also be something more abstract, like an order or the need for a new employee. For interested party, we use the symbol. To be considered an interested party, two criteria need to be met. The person or group, it's almost always a group, must have a relationship with the business. The group or person must have demands on the business, or vice versa. In most cases, both sides have expectations of each other. After all, why would they even have a relationship if they didn't need or expect something from one another? Interested parties can include suppliers, customers, shareholders, authorities, and more. Gateway. In a process flow, different paths may be taken depending on business rules or specific situations. To manage these variations, we use the object called gateway. A gateway divides the process flow into two or more paths, allowing flexibility in decision-making. There are two types of gateways. Or gateway. Let's explore the first type of gateway with a simple example. Lulu needs to determine which clothes can be placed in the dryer. Some clothes can be dried using the machine, while others must be hung manually. To structure this decision, we introduce an or gateway and phrase it as a question. Can we put it in the dryer? If the answer is yes, the clothes proceed to the drying process. If the answer is no, Lulu follows the alternative path of manually hanging the clothes. And gateway. The second type of gateway, the AND gateway, is used when multiple parallel activities need to be performed simultaneously. In other words, activities that can be performed at the same time. For example, while Lulu is cleaning the dryers, Steph can be ironing clothes. This allows different tasks to run at the same time, improving efficiency. Position and roles. Now, how do we determine who performs specific tasks? This is where two important objects come into play, position and role. Position. A position represents a person's primary job title, the job they are officially employed for. Lulu, for instance, is the owner of the laundromat. Steph is employed as a laundry technician. Each person holds only one position. Role. While Lulu is the owner, he also performs various activities and has multiple responsibilities. To reflect this, we use the role object to define his different duties. Lulu washes clothes, dries them, and delivers them. Therefore, his roles could include washer, dryer, and clerk. Steph works primarily at the washing station, so her role is washer. Unlike positions, a person can have multiple roles. Requirements. The requirements object defines the necessary conditions or rules to perform a process or activity. For example, clothes must be washed using eco-friendly detergents. The dryer should never be set to maximum power. Application. The application object is used to specify which software or tools are utilized in different activities. For example, when sending a bill, Lulu Laundromat uses the software BeakBeak Payment. Organization. The organization object defines an organization or department involved in a process. This could be a specific department, such as human resources, or a broader division like marketing. Time. The time object is used to determine when an activity or process should start or end. Additionally, it can indicate when business objects are available. This helps ensure tasks are scheduled efficiently. Targets. The target object represents objectives ranging from small operational targets to long-term strategic aims. It provides clarity on the desired outcomes of a process or activity. Notes. We also use notes to document various insights, including problems, risks, opportunities, strengths, weaknesses. Notes help capture valuable observations that contribute to process improvement. Would you like to learn more about how these objects work together? I highly recommend checking out the courses at academy.2c8.com. They provide in-depth guidance. A link is provided below. Follow these courses and you'll be a pro in no time. Until next time, happy learning. Bye-bye!